Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of CPS Office Hours. Today's show is titled, How CPS Decides Your Case, long before you think a decision has been made. Most parents believe the real decision happens in court after services are completed and hearings are held. But in reality, CPS often makes up its mind much earlier, sometimes before parents even realize they're being evaluated. In today's office hours, I'm going to explain when those decisions are actually formed, what CPS is watching and documenting from the very beginning, and how early assumptions can quietly shape the outcome of your case. Stay with me, because understanding this process can be the difference between reunification and losing your parental rights. If Child Protective Services is involved in your family, this message is important. Please slow down for a moment and listen carefully. Today's briefing is not about motivation. It is not about encouragement. It is not about staying positive. It is about timing. Specifically, it is about when CPS actually decides the outcome of your case, and why most parents believe they still have time long after the system has already moved on. Before we begin, subscribe to this channel. These briefings are sequential. Each one builds on the last. Missing one creates blind spots that matter. Today we're going to talk about a dangerous assumption parents make. That assumption is, they're still evaluating me. In most cases, that assumption is wrong. Parents believe decisions haven't been made because the case still looks active. Services are ongoing. Visits are still happening. Social workers are still communicating. Reports still use neutral language. From the outside, everything appears open. Parents think, if they were done deciding, this would feel different. But CPS cases rarely feel decided when they actually are. CPS is very good at creating the appearance of ongoing evaluation. That appearance serves several purposes. It keeps parents engaged. It prevents conflict. It allows timelines to run. It avoids premature confrontation. But ongoing review does not mean open outcome. In many cases, it means the recommendation is forming, but not yet finalized. That distinction matters. CPS decisions do not happen in a single moment. They form gradually through pattern recognition, risk tolerance, professional comfort, time pressure. Once a worker or team begins to doubt reunification, the case trajectory changes, even if no one tells the parent. And once doubt sets in, everything is filtered through it. CPS is not asking, is this parent trying? They are asking, can we confidently recommend reunification within the statutory time frame? That question is answered long before parents think it is. And once the internal answer starts leaning no, the system quietly adjusts. Parents often say, if they already decided, why am I still doing services? Because services serve multiple purposes. They justify continued removal. They build documentation. They demonstrate effort was given. They protect the agency procedurally. Continuing services does not mean reunification is still likely. It means the system is covering itself. CPS cases are governed by statutory timelines. Those timelines create pressure. As deadlines approach, CPS must choose between recommending reunification or recommending permanency elsewhere. That choice is rarely delayed until the last hearing. It is usually emotionally and professionally settled months earlier. Parents read hope into friendly conversations, encouraging words, neutral reports, continued visits, lack of direct warnings. But CPS workers are trained to avoid promises, avoid confrontation, Avoid premature conclusions. Politeness is not optimism. Silence is not neutrality. One of the most misleading phrases parents hear is, "We'll see how it goes." Parents interpret this as, "My progress still matters." CPS often means, "We are monitoring but preparing." Those are not the same thing. Once CPS begins leaning away from reunification, language becomes more cautious, praise becomes qualified, concerns are repeated, improvements are minimized, time is emphasized. Parents usually miss this shift because it is subtle, but judges notice it. This is critical to understand. Parents experience CPS in real time. Judges experience CPS in snapshots. Those snapshots come from reports, recommendations, professional summaries. If the narrative in those documents has already hardened, last-minute effort rarely changes it. Parents often ask, "Why didn't anyone tell me earlier that things were going badly?" Because CPS avoids triggering conflict. Attorneys may hope things improve. The system prefers smooth movement. No one benefits from alarming parents early, but lack of warning does not mean lack of decision. Parents have the most influence early in the case, before narratives form, before timelines tighten, before recommendations harden. By the time parents feel panic, leverage is already reduced. This is not to create fear. It is to create clarity. If this feels uncomfortable, that's normal. Most parents are never told this. They are encouraged to stay patient, cooperative, and hopeful, even when time is quietly working against them. I'm going to explain exactly how and when CPS recommendations harden, what language signals that shift, and why parents almost always miss the moment it happens. This is where cases are truly won or lost. Let's continue. Now we're going to talk about something far more dangerous. We're going to talk about the moment a CPS case quietly locks in and why parents almost never recognize it when it happens. Parents often imagine that CPS recommendations are made right before a hearing, after all services are completed, once everything is on the table. That is not how it works. In reality, recommendations form gradually through internal discussions, supervisor guidance, risk tolerance, time pressure, comfort level. Once a worker becomes emotionally and professionally comfortable with a non-reunification outcome, the recommendation begins to harden. And once it hardens, it rarely reverses. Most parents never meet the most influential person on their case. That person is often the supervisor. Supervisors review case direction, risk assessments, permanency options, timelines. Once a supervisor Once a supervisor agrees that reunification is unlikely within the statutory timeframe, the case direction is effectively set. Parents are not told when this happens. Parents expect a warning. They expect someone to say, "This isn't going well. You're in danger of losing your case. We're leaning away from reunification." That almost never happens. Why? Because announcing the shift triggers conflict, creates pushback, forces legal friction, slows the system. The system prefers quiet transitions. The most reliable indicator that a case is hardening is language. Early language sounds like parent is engaging, parent is making progress, parent is receptive. Then it changes subtly. Parent continues to participate. Parent has shown some improvement. Concerns remain. Later, it hardens further. Progress has been inconsistent. Insight remains limited. Risk has not been sufficiently mitigated. Parents hear, "I'm still trying." Judges read, "This is not working." Parents often cling to positive comments. "They said I was doing better. They said they were happy with my effort. They said I was cooperating." Here's the truth. Once a recommendation begins to harden, praise becomes procedural, not predictive. It keeps parents engaged. It avoids escalation. It does not signal reunification. Parents often believe visits mean hope. In reality, visits continue because they are legally required, they support documentation, they maintain placement stability, they reduce liability. Visits are not proof of an open outcome. They are proof of process compliance. At a certain point, CPS shifts from, "Can we reunify?" to, "What permanent option feels safest?" This is the most important shift in the entire case. Once permanency planning begins internally, everything changes. Reunification becomes conditional. Risk tolerance drops. Time becomes the dominant factor. Parents almost never know when this shift occurs. Parents often surge late. Extra engagement, renewed urgency, strong emotional appeals, promises of change. But by that stage, the record is built. The narrative is set. The timeline is tight. The recommendation is defended. Late effort is seen as reactive, not reliable. Judges are not asking, "Could this parent succeed someday?" They are asking, "Is reunification likely soon enough to justify continued risk?" That is a different question. And once the answer trends no, decisions accelerate. Parents sometimes feel their attorney is not alarmed enough. This can happen because attorneys see the shift coming before parents do. They know how hard reversals are. They may be managing expectations. They may be preserving credibility. Silence from counsel does not mean safety. Leverage disappears when timelines tighten, supervisors align, reports stabilize, permanency alternatives feel safer. After that point, parents are mostly reacting, not influencing. This is the moment parents wish they could go back to. Let me pause here and say something important. Understanding this is not meant to create despair. It is meant to help parents read the system accurately. False hope is more dangerous than hard truth. Let's finish this. Up to now, we've talked about how CPS decisions begin forming early, how recommendations harden quietly, how leverage fades long before parents realize it. Now we're going to talk about what parents can still do once they suspect their case is already leaning against them. This is not about miracles. This is about damage control, positioning, and reality-based strategy. Parents ask this question constantly. How do I know if my case is already decided? Here are the strongest indicators, not one, but several together. Early in cases, reports evolve. Language shifts. Progress is highlighted. Later, reports become repetitive. Same concerns, same phrasing, same conclusions. That usually means the narrative is locked. You'll hear things like, "While the parent has made some progress, despite participation in services, although the parent is compliant." The "but" matters more than the praise. When CPS starts saying, "There isn't enough time," "The child needs permanency," "We can't extend the timeline," that usually means the decision is already emotionally settled. When guardianship, adoption, or long-term placement are discussed as options, not hypotheticals, that's significant. Those conversations don't start unless reunification confidence is low. If no one can clearly tell you, Here is exactly what reunification would require now. That's often because they don't believe it's achievable. Even late in a case, parents are not powerless. But influence changes. At late stages, parents can still affect how they are perceived, how much risk they present, how cooperative they appear, what options remain open. They usually cannot reverse time. Let's be clear about what actually helps. Late surges don't help. Steady, predictable behavior does. CPS values reliability more than passion. Parents who acknowledge concerns without defensiveness are seen as safer than parents who argue endlessly. Insight matters more than effort at this stage. Compliance paired with emotional control helps. Begging, pleading, or dramatic appeals often backfire. Professional communication, calm emails, respectful tone, no threats, no accusations, credibility matters. What absolutely hurts cases late? Now listen carefully. These behaviors are devastating late in cases. Emotional outbursts, anger, accusations, or breakdowns confirm risk narratives. Even understandable emotions can be misinterpreted. Blaming the system, saying CPS is corrupt or everyone is against me, reinforces concerns about insight, even if you believe it. Last-minute demands. Demanding extensions, changes, or exceptions late usually fails and damages credibility. Using children as leverage. Statements like, "My child needs me." "They're traumatizing my child." These rarely help and often hurt. Late-stage strategy is not about winning the case outright. It is often about preserving relationships, preventing worst-case outcomes, maintaining future options. Protecting parental credibility. This is difficult, but necessary to understand. Some parents do succeed late, not because they worked harder, but because their case never fully hardened. Risk tolerance remained flexible. Supervisors weren't fully aligned. Documentation allowed ambiguity. Those cases are exceptions, not the rule. False hope causes parents to miss critical moments, delay serious decisions, misread warnings, focus on emotion instead of strategy. Realistic understanding allows better choices. This series is not about fear. It is about seeing the system clearly. Parents who understand timing, narrative, leverage, risk, make better decisions, even in hard circumstances. If you are in a CPS case right now, hear this clearly. Your effort matters, but timing matters more. Your love matters, but perception matters more. Your intentions matter, but documentation matters more. Understanding that difference changes everything. This completes our topic for today. In day 5, we will cover early case moves that prevent late-stage collapse, how parents unintentionally sabotage strong cases, the single most dangerous mindset parents carry into CPS cases. This next day is preventive, not reactive. If this briefing helped you understand your case more clearly, subscribe to this channel. These briefings are not opinion. They are system literacy.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last